The divine masculine is reminiscing today. I do feel that soul level pull towards the divine feminine is very loud. There could be childhood memories surfacing, past lives surfacing, or just an emotional echo from another time surfacing around the divine masculine. This is feeling like a longing for emotional safety. This is stirring a deep sense of awakening. I do believe the divine masculine is being drawn back to the magnetic memory of love. But will he answer the call, or will he stay in the comfort of the familiar? Five of Pentacles, divine feminine came out for you, and I do believe this is a strong message that you are in recovery mode. You are healing from feeling cast out or even feeling left behind, whether in love or in life or both. And I do feel this is you entering a spiritual re-entry of some sort. You're no longer waiting at the door. You do hold the key and you are getting ready to walk through the new doorway. And so, divine feminine, it feels like you are rising from the cold. But can you trust what once was wounded no longer holds power over you? The connection at large and the combined energy, we get the Empress here. And so a pretty strong message that the twins together are seeding something very, very sacred. And so there is a sacred bond here rooted in divine creation, love, and emotional nurturing. Even if there's silence, even if there is separation, this connection is gestating into something greater than either of the twins can even see yet. And so there is a new beginning here. There is a soul rebirth here. And so beneath the chaos, beneath the separation, there is a connection here that is blooming. And I believe both of the twins are ready to receive what they've co-created. But are they going to reach out and grab it? Because I want to say, the past is calling, the heart is healing, and this soul connection is creating something new. There is a powerful, powerful shift unfolding under this Mercury Neptune conjunction over the coming days. This is just a taste into the energies of what the twins are experiencing. If you want the full spread, if you want to dig deeper with me, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and let's get into today's message. Hey, welcome in, welcome back everybody. It is Laura and we are going to talk about these energies coming in for the Twin Flame Collective. We've got some pretty significant astrological aspects playing out this week. We're going to break it down because tomorrow we do have Neptune conjunct Mercury. Both of these planets are in the sign of fiery, assertive Aries, and it is connected to communication. And so we are in a powerful initiatory alignment portal, and I do feel this is the representation of that new beginning. Something is about to emerge, and there's a lot of raw potential building in these energies. This is a spiritual ignition point, I feel, for the Twin Flame Collective. Mercury rules communication, Neptune governs divine love and soul connection and all of the unseen realms. And with it being in Aries at that 0 degrees, this is a very bold new beginning. It's a portal for a bold new beginning, and it's the spark. It's the spark before the flame. There is soul level initiations going on within the collective, so I'm going to break it down to the feminine and the masculine, because divine feminine, you really do need to trust that inner vision. I do think that the key themes over the coming days for the feminine is receiving soul messages clearly and quickly, activating that throat chakra so you can speak your divine truth. I have been going through a massive recalibration connected to the throat chakra for the last several weeks. The divine feminine is in this energy of rewriting the story of this connection with courage and letting go of the fantasy and choosing to embody the vision of that union. And so the divine feminine, I feel, is going to be receiving intense downloads over the coming days. Going to be messages and dreams. There's going to be sudden intuitive hits, especially connected to the twin flame journey and your mission, divine feminine. There is a new wave, I want to say, of twin flame soul truth emerging, and this is going to emerge from within Divine Feminine. And so you might be feeling called to really step forward and speak your truth, or share your twin flame path and your journey publicly, even if the Divine Masculine isn't showing up the way that you want right now, okay? Because I do feel this transit is dissolving illusions for the Divine Feminine that you've held on to about this connection, because it really isn't fantasy, right? And so you've got to see clearly where you are being divinely guided right now. And there's a need to release attachments and projections. And so really be mindful over the coming days. Watch for fantasizing or making a decision from a place of wounded hope. That's not going to be serving you. You don't want to over communicate or try to force that clarity either over the coming days. It does feel rushed. It's a feeling of feeling rushed. And so you want to act with a certain amount of groundedness. You don't want to act without being grounded. And so the empowerment tip that came through for you in today's message, Divine Feminine, is let the truth come through you, not from you. And so automatic writing, breath work is going to serve you, and even mindful movement or movement meditation is going to be huge, helping you release what's not yours to carry while clarifying what is over the coming days. Divine Masculine, I felt an energy connected to a mental awakening. There's a lot of emotional surfacing of these buried, repressed issues, okay? And so I feel over the coming days, there's going to be a breakthrough in soul perception connected to the Divine Masculine, and there's going to be a lot of spiritual epiphanies that is really going to bypass that logical processing for the masculine collective. And there is going to be this deep yearning for the Divine Feminine, and you might not fully understand why, okay? I do feel the mind is going to be struggling to keep up with the heart over the coming days, Divine Masculine, and so you're probably going to be experiencing a lot of mental confusion, possibly even disorientation, as this Neptunian energy, I feel, is pushing you out of that linear, ego-based thinking, because the journey certainly is not linear, and it's certainly not logical. And so I feel this felt very destabilizing for the masculine collective, especially those that are still very heavily anchored in the third dimension. And so this is actually dissolving all of those false mental constructs, okay? And so I do feel these aspects are going to be very triggering for soul memories and soul recognition and intuitive clarity around the Divine Feminine. And so this connection and the soul purpose of this connection, there's going to be, I feel, a sudden urge for the counterparts to reach out. Even if they don't know what to say, that urge is there. And so watch out, Divine Masculine, for that sense of emotional overwhelm, because you can't mask that emotional overwhelm and you can't avoid it or become distracted at this point in time. There is going to be this deep desire, I want to say, to act impulsively, but it's going to be out of confusion or fear of loss. So take a step back and recalibrate your energy. And so watch out for speaking in ways that reflect inner chaos, or watch out for that ghosting, right? We know a lot of the Divine Masculines are infamous for the ghosting. And so the empowerment tip for you that came through in today's message is create that inner space for silence. You are being asked to feel, not to fix, okay, Divine Masculine, to let that soul speak, not the mind, because you are going through a rewiring moment, I want to say, when it comes to your neurological pathways. And so the union energies were very strong. I did feel a possibility for strong soul communication and that 5D soul merger. And so this conjunction, I want to say, is opening up a portal for telepathic communication, especially between the counterparts. This high level soul merger is going to be taking place, I feel, mostly in dream state. And there's going to be a lot of increased synchronicities and a lot of spiritual mirroring over the coming days. This is the initiation into that new communication dynamic, possibly 3D or 5D. Everybody's on their own timeline, so take that how it resonates. But even if one of the counterparts has cleared a major karmic pattern recently, this is going to initiate that new wave of union or reunion energy, even if it's subtle, or it could be potent, right? And so, like I said, it's all going to be independent for your own journey. And so the guidance for the twins was lean into that meditative stillness and that sacred silence over the coming days. Trust what it is that you feel over what it is that you're seeing in the 3D. And that creative expression is there to help you move all of this stuck energy. Grounding, embodiment before taking action is what is needed. You want to avoid projecting. You don't want to project expectations onto this connection over the coming days. And you don't want to try to decode every single sign or message, okay? You can't force communication either, and you cannot chase that clarity. It does have to come to you. So the channeled message, the channeled message that came through for the divine feminine was a reminder that your voice is sacred. You're being asked to speak not from fear, but from that deep soul knowing, and to let your words become that light and coded frequency of that truth in the collective. We are not here to use our spiritual tools or our spiritual gifts to control an outcome. And so there really is no need to force an understanding. The right people that are meant to hear you will align with you on your path, because you are already the message itself, divine feminine. And so you might feel like something is breaking open inside of you. There could possibly be a flood of emotion over the coming days, triggering soul memory or visions. Let the energy pour through you. Do not allow it to overwhelm you, but allow it basically to anoint you, because I do feel a deeper layer of anointing for the divine feminine over the coming days. And it might feel like you're going backwards. You're not going backwards. You're circling upwards is how that was shown to me. You're circling upwards. And so the silence that you hear is not the absence of the counterpart. It's that space where spirit kind of rearranges all of these timelines for your highest path, divine feminine. And so trust whatever is rising in the energies. Trust in your third eye sight, because you did come to awaken others, but this is by awakening yourself. And so this is your ignition moment, divine feminine. Keywords that came through was soul voice, clarity through trust, and sacred leadership over the coming days. The channeled message for the divine masculine: the veil is lifting and you are feeling it. It's in your body, it's in your breath, it's in the space between all of the words. And you may not have a language yet or be able to put words to what it is that you're sensing it, but I want to confirm to you, yes, this is real. You are being reintroduced to your own soul, and it's not a theory, and you can't force it. And so the confusion on the journey is always temporary. This too shall pass, right? You're not lost, but you are being recalibrated, divine masculine. So let go of the need to explain everything. What matters right now is not control for you, divine masculine, but it is alignment. And so you're not weak for feeling. Feeling is healing. You're not wrong for longing. And so your heart has known this path longer than your mind could ever comprehend. And so let your heart lead you now, divine masculine. Reach out if you are called to reach out. And then be still and listen if you need to listen. There's really no wrong move when we move from the soul and our intuition. And we really can't mess up these divine unions and connections, because what is meant to be is already written. And so divine masculine keywords for you was soul awakening, reclaiming your inner authority, and taking heart-led action. And so the final message I feel for both of the twins with this astrology, this conjunction, it's like a soul whisper and a lightning bolt all at once, whether you are in contact or in separation, or your connection is being rewritten from these higher calibration octaves. Let go of how this is supposed to look, because each journey looks individual to each of us, right? And so speak when you're guided, listen always. Don't just listen to respond, but listen. Trust in the union energy that is being reignited and is coming alive and evolving, just like you are as well, okay? So let's jump in with some cards. Let's see what the cards have to say with these energies over the coming days. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button if you would like to go further into your twin flame journey. I do have a 22-page twin flame ebook guide. If you are curious about your mission and how all of the stages of the journey work, I highly encourage you to comment down below, Twin Flame Guide. I'll send you the link to download the book. It's basically from my perspective of the journey and what my guides have asked me to share with all of you. I'm more than willing to share that with you, but let's jump in with some cards and let's see what the cards have in store for the twins. We have another deeply layered, powerfully raw reading again today for the Twin Flame Collective. I'm going to run through both the Oracle and the Tarot because we've got a story here of a twin flame connection navigating through the fog, the fear, control, and all of this inner conflict, yet still tethered to that divine truth, this love and spiritual purpose. And so let's kick it off with the Divine Masculine. First, the Oracle card that came out for the Divine Masculine is the card of discipline. The card says, I can accomplish what I set my mind to. This is actually pretty revealing for the Divine Masculine. I do feel the Divine Masculine Collective is being called into mastery. This is not just the material or external world, though. This is the Divine Masculine soul trying to teach him emotional discipline. I feel the ability to honor the heart's truth without suppression or distraction. This is about conscious control, not repression. And so the Divine Masculine Collective is learning to trust that what he truly wants is worthy, but he must align his mind and his heart. Divine Feminine, you received the card of success. It states, I know that there is no greater goal than to love. And so I feel this is a very strong message for the Divine Feminine Collective. I do feel this is an anchoring in of that pure heart energy, even though you might be feeling emotionally exhausted or perhaps even experiencing spiritual fatigue. I know I'm definitely feeling the spiritual fatigue the last couple of days. I always feel these energy shifts very significantly. Divine Feminine, you know the soul path is all about love, even if it's painful, right? And so I think the message today for you, Divine Feminine, is you are being reminded that your presence in itself is already successful. You don't need that external validation. Your love is the medicine, okay? The combined energy was pretty loud. It is surrender. And so you can release your need to control. You can. And so together, I feel this message is crystal clear. The connection is always being divinely guided. Both of the counterparts need to let go of trying to force, trying to fix, or trying to define it. Because Neptune, I want to say, is removing the ego's tight grip on how, when, and why. And when we surrender, this really creates the space where that true miracle can be born within these connections and these unions. The bottom of the deck, I love it. We did get trust. A very loud message about accepting your inner voice and allowing it to always guide you correctly, because we are in a sacred portal of growth and we are expanding our conscious awareness. And with that comes the need to surrender and to trust. Okay, so let's break down this tarot spread. This is kind of where the twins stand right now. The Divine Masculine, the first card out for the masculine, we get this King of Cups. And so I do feel this is a little bit of truth awakening for the Divine Masculine. I think this is revealing what the Divine Masculine is beginning to feel or understand. And I do think he is feeling emotionally overwhelmed. And I do think he's realizing where he has shut down or struggled even to trust in his own feelings. And so I do feel a very strong sense of guilt or possibly fear around emotional vulnerability, or where he has been perhaps even emotionally manipulative in the past. And I do feel this is a big energy of facing that inner judgment for that. And so the second card out for the Divine Masculine is the Six of Cups. And so I do feel this is what is rising, connected to this spiritual insight. This is a truth, I want to say, that is trying to emerge with a sense of clarity, right, into the Divine Masculine's awareness. And so I do feel a sense of deep longing, definitely a sense of nostalgia or a desire to return home. We see the child with the puppy and then the grown man with the dog. And so there is past life connection energy coming through. There is a deep sense of desire and nostalgia and feeling that bond, I want to say, that inner child bond. And I do feel the divine masculine might even be having a hard time articulating a lot of these emotions, because the next card out was the judgment card in reversed. And so this is like the fear, I want to say, or the illusion that really is needing to be released. This is what needs to be surrendered as the Neptune energy dissolves something for the divine masculine. And so I do feel there's a need to surrender this avoidance of this awakening, or I always feel soul retrieval with this judgment card. I do feel there's an overwhelming fear, or he's afraid of facing the music, right? Which is basically resisting the path of spiritual growth. I do feel there's a deep call for change here. And this is what needs to be surrendered, the fear, right? Or the self-denial, or even that fear of divine judgment, because it's here. It's not going anywhere. The last card out was the Nine of Cups. It also did come out with the Five of Wands. The Nine of Cups, as you can see, is in reverse. And so this is the next soul guided step, I want to say, for the divine masculine, the action or the inner shift that he is being called towards. And so I do feel this energy of like what he once thought he wanted is just no longer satisfying him. And I do think there's a deep inner conflict, or even perhaps some type of competition externally. But I do feel this could also be the masculine realizing where he is comparing himself to others, right? That's a big Debbie Downer on the journey, is when we compare ourselves to others, right? And this leaves us in a place of scarcity mindset. And so I just want to say the divine masculine soul feels tired, especially connected to any shallow victories. And so I think he is being called to release the struggle, really, or that internal conflict, okay? And so I do feel overall the divine masculine is feeling a little bit emotionally disoriented. As I say that, I'm feeling very lightheaded, and I do feel a deep sense of disorientation, or almost like a spiritual stirring in the energies, where he is being challenged to drop the pride, to stop resisting the call, and to really open up his heart without that need to win. I do feel the lesson coming through today for the divine masculine is that emotional truth is not weakness. It truly is strength. And so divine feminine, let's get into your spread. The first card out for you is your current emotional truth. This is what's rising in your emotional and spiritual landscape. And so this is what you are feeling deeply, I want to say. And so you are feeling this need, I want to say, to recover from that abandonment wound, right? And releasing the self-worth wounds, or any wounds of rejection, right? And so I think you're starting to really understand that you were never truly left out. You were being rerouted to go inward on the journey. And so the soul gift being activated, divine feminine, I love it. It is the death card in reverse, Scorpio energy. This is the spiritual power and the clarity rising within you. And so I want to say there's a big release of holding on to all of that pain or longing for the past. There is a deep desire to evolve here. There is an energy of coming back from the dead. You're releasing the death process and any old identities tied to the struggle of the rebirth process. And so I do feel there's a release of any clinging to that separation energy. And so the next card out for you is the illusion or the story to release. And we did get the Chariot in reversed, Cancer energy. So release that feeling of being stuck. Release that feeling of being unsure of which direction to take. It does feel like a little bit of blocked movement here, but I do think this is showing you perhaps where you need to take that time if you are feeling a little bit spiritually burnt out. You can't keep pushing forward if things aren't working anymore, right? And so I do think there's a need to release resistance to that willpower, because your soul, I want to say, is really asking you to rest and realign over the coming days. And the final card out, divine feminine, for you is the Two of Swords. And this one's a pretty tricky one, because this is the next embodiment or expression. And I do feel a choice needs to be made. And maybe you are feeling conflicted, right? Between the head and the heart. I do think you are being called to have a little bit of blind faith here. Spirit really is right there guiding you, whether you realize it or not. And so I do feel you are intuitively sensing this shift. Maybe there's a need to release fear about getting it wrong. Logic and emotion, I want to say, are a little bit at odds right now for you, Divine Feminine, but stillness and just taking a rest is really going to bring that clarity. And so I want to say, Divine Feminine, you are in a process of deepening this emotional alchemy. And so I do feel you're healing that poverty mindset. You're healing the spiritual fatigue. I'm feeling that very intensely. And you're learning that surrender is not passivity, right? It's embracing, I want to say, that intuitive flow. And so I think your lesson right now is you're not meant to fight your way through. You're meant to allow your becoming, okay? So let's talk about the combined energies between the twins today. I did get the Eight of Wands in reversed. And so big message of, I want to say, communication delays. And I do think this is the current 5D or soul level connection, the energetic bridge between you. And so telepathy, there are going to be delays in actual physical, tangible communication right now. There could also be spiritual interference in the fifth dimensional realms, which is also blocking momentum moving forward. Things are feeling a little bit stagnant, definitely stagnant, because I want to say the ethers are recalibrating, okay? We got the Nine of Swords in reversed, and this is the shared lesson through this transit, okay? This is the theme that I want to say is helping both of the twins evolve, and I want to say both twins are working through those shadow cycles. There's anxiety being worked through, inner fears being worked through. This really is a dark night of the soul energy for many on the twin flame journey and in the twin flame collective. But the dark night of the soul energy is going to bring eventual relief. The next card out is where the connection is expanding from, and what the connection is healing in order to embody that unity energy. And we get this Queen of Swords in reverse, and so there's a big energy being healed connected to miscommunication or coldness on one or both sides of the connection. But I do feel in the past, perhaps harsh words were exchanged, and now there could be a fear of speaking truth. And so the mind might be overpowering the heart in both of the counterparts with this card coming out. But the guidance for surrender for both of the counterparts is the Empress. And so we are birthing that new earth energy. We are being guided to trust that there is always light within the darkness. The divine feminine energy is the one leading the healing. And this connection is deeply rooted in creation, nurturing, and rebirth. And so something new and fertile is, I want to say, gestating beneath this perceived silence and separation. And so both are being called to trust. I do feel, although things are feeling a little bit blocked right now or a little bit strained, I do feel there is soul deep divine protection here. And so the communication coming through with this Mercury transit, it might not be direct communication. It might be spiritual communication in the tethering remains in the ethers. But I do feel the union is evolving into something more authentic, abundant, and whole. So let's talk about the bottom of the deck, because I always find that to be significant of what's going on in the shadows beneath the surface. We get the Ten of Pentacles, which I feel is working through fear around long-term security or legacy. I do feel there is a lot of family karma that is going to be surfacing. The King of Pentacles in reversed. I feel both of the twins are questioning their worth or what stability really means, perhaps more so on the divine masculine counterpart end. And the Two of Pentacles, which is a realignment. And so I do feel there's an attempt to kind of balance too much. There is a call to reprioritize your soul over survival mode. And I do want to mention, if things start to slow down on the channel, I'm definitely going through a major energetic recalibration. The last card out, though, is the Five of Cups, which is slowly releasing the grief, the regret, and the disappointment. And so healing is happening, even if it's quiet, even if you don't see it happening. It's happening in the background, in the shadows. And I do believe once this clearing is complete, there is going to be that communication to create that balance, right? And so I think right now there's a lot of ideas, there's a lot of research happening. I think both of the twins are really digging deeper, possibly into patterns. They're about to cross the threshold. I know it kind of feels like we're walking a tight rope here, a fine line here. But let's talk about these closing oracle guidance messages, because we did get the Judgment card out, and the card does say, let go of your fear of being judged. You are good enough. It is time to release all that you have kept safely locked away in your heart. Your true essence and potential have been restricted by structure and method for long enough. There is no right or wrong way. So just be you, right? I feel both the divine feminine and the divine masculine are being asked to stop fearing that they will be judged by spirit or by others or by each other. This really is a call, I want to say, to step into radical self-acceptance. You don't need to do more. You need to just be who you are is a big message. And then let's talk about the bottom of the deck, because it was the card of surrender. And I do feel that's a pretty loud message, because surrender came through twice. In today's message, the card says, remain positive about the future of our planet, for all is part of humanity's evolution. There is a divine order to the chaos which you perceive in our world. Nothing will ever truly change until we learn to love and accept all as it is. Lovingly surrender your judgments and expectations, and your life will magically transform. And so stay positive about the future, okay? Humanity is evolving, and we are a part of that wave of evolution. This isn't just about romance, and I say it all the time, connected to the twins. It is about anchoring in divine love on earth. It is about anchoring in heaven on earth. So trust the path ahead. Even if it feels uncertain, trust that it is being guided. And so anchor in that mantra for the coming days. Visualize it, return to that high vibration frequency, and trust that we are moving through a massive awakening portal. That is the message that I have for the twins today. If you would like to go further with me with a birth chart reading or a twin flame synastry chart reading, check out the webpage link below if you're not ready to commit to that, and maybe you're just feeling called to understand your soul's blueprint a little bit more through astrology. I do have a free guide to help you decode the basics of your birth chart. Just comment free guide down below and I'll send you the link to download it. When you understand your placements and everything that's happening, it can really unlock major insights about your own personal twin flame journey. I do wish you luck in these energies, and I also look forward to seeing you all again next time. Have a great day, everyone.